Breaking news with Based and Bougie. So, guys, if you guys were angry and livid finding out that our police could have actually prevented the Southport attack, now that we know Axel Rudakubana's very violent history, wait until you find out that his parents actually also could have prevented this attack. Unbelievable, guys. Let's get into it. The more and more I look into the Axel Rudakubana case and the more information gets revealed, the more my blood just boils. It just boils with anger for two reasons. The first reason is, of course, our establishment could have done something to prevent this happening. I mean, we now know that Axel Rudakubana had a very, very violent history. Like, this guy was demonically possessed. But to now find out that the parents were also aware of this, I mean, 9 times out of 10 they should be aware of it, but the fact that they didn't act on it and they didn't do anything about it, it just makes you think, what were these parents playing at? Honestly, what would I understand that parents are naturally always going to be biased towards their own children, because every parent just has that, strong love for their child, but it can't be to the point where other people are being put in danger. But anyways, let's get into the story. Basically, it's been revealed on Sky News that Axel Rudakubana ordered a bunch of knives on Amazon Prime, and his father was the one that actually accepted the delivery. This is what I'm talking about. You know your child has a very, very violent past. You know your child has a fascination with knives, and yet you are still giving him the permission to just order things online. You can't tell me that's by accident. You can't tell me, oh my gosh, I didn't know. No. If I know my child has a fascination with, I don't know, bombs or acid or guns, I'm not giving him any freedom to order anything on Amazon Prime. I'm not doing that. So, how the father didn't see this coming, I personally just don't believe it. But let's get into the story. So, it basically says here, Axel Rudakubana's dad is now being asked about a package of knives he ordered from Amazon, whose delivery driver would have asked for a year of birth. You can't order weapons without a year of birth. Somebody has to give a date of birth. So if it was the father or the mother, again, why would they do that? Alfonso Rudakubana accepts it's very highly likely it was him who accepted the parcel which said bladed article on the package. Why are parents not checking in? And this is another reason why I feel like my generation, Gen Z, and the generation after me is very messed up in the head, because I feel like a lot of parents are just not checking in with their children. They're not checking in on what they're watching. They're not checking in on what they're buying. They're really not checking in with their kids, and that's very, very harmful. I don't know if you guys remember, but there would be like one computer in the sitting room. So you couldn't get away with anything because everyone used that computer. It was right in front of your parents. Like, you couldn't get away with anything. But now things have changed. But now that it has changed, more parents need to be very, very vigilant. But anyways, asked if he gave the package to his son, he says he would have been half asleep because he works nights, and would have put it behind the door in post pile and gone back to bed. Alfonso now says Alfonso now says he has a problem with the word bladed, saying the packaging should have said machete or knife, but he admits to a serious misjudgment. Now I have a problem with this. I have a serious, serious problem with this, because we all know that Axel Rudakubana had a very, very, very long history of just being violent. If not being violent, having a huge fascination with just violence. Okay, we're gonna go through the list. The first thing that he done is he brought a knife into school in 2022. This young lad, I'm not even going to call him a lad, demon, had an obsession with knives. So much to the point, it says the inquiry hears that Axel Rudakubana's parents learned that he was taking knives to school. They hid the kitchen knives behind some trays in the kitchen drawer, but he found the knives, taking one to the school he was expelled from to carry out an attack with a hockey stick. His father says they disposed of all knives apart from a 4 centimeter vegetable preparation knife, and but Axel found the small knife and he was arrested when carrying it on the bus in March 2022. If my son ever had a fascination with knives, you're not going to be allowed to buy anything. You're not going to be allowed to go on Amazon. And this is what I mean when I say some parents care to hold their child accountable to the point where now other children, 3 children now, are dead because of your inability Like, why would you give your child the freedom to buy things knowing they're obsessed with knives? Let's continue the list. We all know now that he had ricin poison in his room. The parents must have known he had this, but yet they still gave him the freedom to go on Amazon and continue to buy things. Okay. He also had an Al Qaeda training manual. Now, this Al Qaeda training manual is suspicious to me because you, again, how did the parents not see that? Who influenced him to buy that? I definitely think that your environment definitely influence and shapes you. The reason why I'm such a patriot and I'm conservative and I'm Christian is because my parents are exactly that. I don't know, maybe he was influenced by something in the internet, but at the same time, how did the parents not see this? And why didn't the parents do anything about it? And why did they give him the freedom to keep ordering things? He had he had knives in his room. Again, you mean to tell me every time he ordered knives, you guys did not see it? You guys missed it? And you guys still gave him the freedom to order stuff? Again, we all know the hockey stick incident where he smashed a person's wrist in school with a hockey stick. Again, that was the moment where they should have put him into some kind of anger management or some kind of boot camp. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the film. It's like a series. It's called Beyond Scared Straight in America, where they will basically put underage, well, bad behaved kids in these like American prisons, and then the children come out completely reformed because basically the people in prison kind of teach them, you guys are not on badness. A week prior to the massacre, he actually tried to commit the same act in his previous school. The parents did stop him from going. However, stopping him is not enough. You should have put him into a boot camp. You should have called the police. You should have done something. You should have thrown him in jail. Like, I'm so sorry, me, when I have children, if you are badly behaved, you are going to jail. I will call the police on my children because it's so selfish to know that you have such a danger in your home and that person can also cause danger on other people, and yet you're not acting on it. You're not doing anything. You're just hiding knives at the back of a tray. It's just so careless. I also want to show you a picture of his bedroom. Does this look like the bedroom of a child who has parents who care about him? You guys tell me. You see rubbish everywhere, you see parcels everywhere. I don't know if that's mold on the in the curtains. This is disgusting. You see bottles everywhere, you see McDonald's rubbish, you see Amazon boxes. Like, this is pretty disgusting. This looks like a person who has been neglected. So this is what I mean when I say Axel Rudakubana and what he did was obviously horrible, but I feel like the parents are very complicit in this. They're complicit in this in the sense that you neglected your child. You wasn't paying much attention to what he was ordering. You wasn't paying attention to what he was reading. You wasn't even paying attention to his room and the state of his room, you know? And yes, maybe they tried to stop things by stopping him from getting in that cab to go commit a massacre in his previous school. Yes, they tried to stop him by hiding knives in the back of a tray, but that is not enough, especially when you're dealing with a kid this violent. Like, this is not this is a demon. I'm so sorry to say this is a demon. So Axel was actually referred to Prevent 3 times in 2019, 2021, and again in April 2021. You guys can pause and read it. But none of these referrals were made by his parents. It was made by pupils, it was made by the school, but not the parents. So it makes you wonder, was this neglect or was this intentional? Because there's no way you can know your child is this violent. Over and over again, he keeps proving himself to be violent, and you're not doing anything about it. I mean, even if I hit a child in school, I promise you, my parents would have put me on a first class flight back to Congo because they do not play that. So I feel like Axel Rudakubana and his parents, they should be so disappointed in themselves in the sense that, what was you guys doing? What was you guys doing, and why did you guys not act on the fact that your child was so violent and messed up in the head fast, quick, and efficiently? Now, a bit of a backstory about Axel Rudakubana's parents. So both parents were also granted asylum in 2002. They were able to get a home through a social housing plot. Not only that, but the local community was able to put in money together to basically get their son, not Axel Rudakubana, another son, but their son a wheelchair, because apparently the son is, well, yeah, the son is disabled, not apparently. And what is so tragic about this is that this country has given you everything. This country gave you safety. This country gave you a home. This country may have potentially gave you benefits. This country allowed your children to be educated. This country allowed your children to be safe, because apparently the Rwandan genocide was dark, one of the worst genocides we've ever seen. This country even allowed your son to have a proper wheelchair, and you repay the country by not doing anything about your son. You repay the country by not reporting on your son's behavior. Now, let me make something very clear. Parents are naturally always going to be biased towards their children, but it shouldn't be to the extent where other people are put in danger because of your child. It should never be like that. And I think had the parents just acted, had the parents just sent him to jail or called a boot camp, or I don't know, sent him to Rwanda. One thing my parents always used to threaten us with is, listen, I'm sending you back to Congo. If you misbehave, if you do this, I'm sending you back. And this is a real thing that people used to do. For instance, I remember in secondary school, we had this guy, he was so badly behaved. His parents actually sent him back to Ivory Coast. They sent him back to Ivory Coast. And he's come back and he's reformed. He even has this huge TikTok page, but he's a good guy now, like proper good guy. But sometimes it's necessary. Now, had they not done that, this guy probably would have turned out 10 times worse than what he was, in secondary school. So it just goes to show a neglect for the child, that's one. Two, a neglect for his community. And also just a neglect for the country. Like, if you escaped a war, and if you know what war looks like, if you know war can be very violent and bloody, and you know your child is also reading and has a fascination for things that mirror what you see in that war, why would you be so like laissez-faire about it? Like, oh, it's just it is what it is. Let's just put the kitchen knife behind the tray. Sorry, it's really disgusting. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I want people to understand the reason why this country is in such a dire state, because we are refusing to diagnose people. We're refusing to diagnose people. We're giving people the wrong diagnosis. Do you understand? Like, for instance, I saw a post of Montgomery Tom. You guys should follow him. He does great work. And he was, having a conversation with this this transgender person who's also leading this LGBTQ movement here in the UK. And upon further research, he found out that the person actually tried to kidnap somebody. When he was in jail, he literally cut off his balls with a razor. Now, if you think that's bad, he even ate his own balls. And now this guy is out of prison, and now he is leading an LGBTQ movement on the streets. He's leading it. This is the problem. The problem that we are having in society is we are not treating criminals as if they are criminals. A person can bring a knife into school, and instead of immediately putting that child in prison, what do? Oh, we would just say it's mental health issues. What? A man can literally go into a train and start stabbing people, and rather than just saying that man is a psychopath, we're here saying it's meant. And this is why I really am starting to not like the term mental health anymore. I don't like it, because I feel like we're just using it to mask it's like demonic activities. Anyone who's capable of murdering, slaughtering, massacres, terrorism is not mental health. You are a demon. And I think we need to go back to the days where we actually called people demonically possessed. You are an evil, demonically possessed demon human being, and you need to be in jail. But we don't do that anymore. We also saw this in America when that black man literally the video still traumatizes me till this day. He literally slaughtered a girl who just came back from work, and he said, I got that white girl. Rather than people openly admitting that this man has a hatred for white people, they say, oh, he has mental health issues. I have a problem with this mental health word. I have a problem with it, and I always knew it was going to lead to this. It was going to lead to a place where we was no longer going to name people what they are, which is demons. You are a demon, and instead we're just going to mask it as mental health. It's sick. Anyways, guys, if you guys want me to continue to look into the case of Axel Rudakubana and how this happened, why our establishment allowed this to happen and they didn't lock him up, why the parents were complicit in this, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.